Welcome to This Is Whole Life, a podcast from the Whole Life Church in Orlando, Florida.
Join me, Ken Wetmore, lead pastor, and Melanie Bockmann, our worship pastor, along with our communication team, Randy and Lucas. Take a look back, a look deeper, and a peek into the week ahead.
Here we explore meaningful conversations about spirituality, community, and living with purpose.
We don't have all the answers, but we are walking the journey together.
Wherever you're listening from, you're wanted here.
This is Whole Life.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 524 of This Is Whole Life. And this week we're digging deeper into the worst king in the history of Judah. Yeah. I assumed it was not him, but I'm not going to argue with Ken if he says.
That's a pretty high bar, too.
I was just going to say, there's so many people to choose from. How did this guy get to be the worst?
Yeah.
And why did he get 55 years? All questions, like the longest tenured and the worst, all in one.
Maybe God needed 55 years to get through to him.
Do we know? Now that you mentioned it, do we know at the end of the story? We're going to, spoiler alert, we're going early here.
Should we introduce ourselves before we jump too far in, or is I
don't know. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Melanie.
Hi, I'm Ken.
I'm Randy. Lucas isn't here. All right, cool.
Oh, got that done. All right, back to... Randy looks at me like, back to my question, Ken.
No, but do we know how soon it was or how late towards the end of your life that it was?
Yeah, most historians think that he was reinstated about 5 or 6 years before his death.
That's weird. Okay, well, let's get into it then. This week, this is week three of our favorite things, where people give us their favorite Bible verse, favorite story, and Ken tries not to ruin it for them. And that's not a guarantee that's not going to happen.
Absolutely.
Nope.
You just never know where that might be. Might that be headed to? All right, and today it was from Aaron Young, and Aaron really went the full. She did the full thing. Last week, Melanie was like, "Hey, we need a quick video of you telling us why," because we're starting the messages with that. And so they got together, and it just didn't work.
Well, it was a lovely thing where you can hear Aaron's voice, but for some reason, the Zoom focused on me, so it's me listening to Aaron's.
So, yeah.
Oh, I like that. Why not?
I reached out to Aaron through the channels that I had available, and yesterday afternoon, after Lucas had already shut the lid on his laptop and had everything put away, I was like, "Oh, you're gonna hate me, but we actually have Aaron on camera,
just under the wire.
We're gonna do it." All right, let's do it. And so we did get it. So Aaron, thank you for that. It's
probably why he's sick today.
Yeah. It's probably those extra couple of minutes might have been the final thing. And VBS was a fun. Although, to his reel for VBS, come on.
It's excellent.
That was sweet.
Nicely done.
He was digging yesterday afternoon. And this is what I appreciate about Lucas. He knows it's going to be good already because he's the one that took all the photos. So he knows what he's got to work with. And then he was digging, looking for some kind of template that would just really be fun and make it like impactful. And he searched for a little while until he found what he wanted. But man, did it really turn out nice.
Nice.
So
very nice.
Good work to Lucas.
Well done, Lucas.
That's it. All right. So this week we had a text. So we'll get started there. And this one, I don't know who this person is. And they are Pastor Melanie's number one fan.
Oh,
without
nice.
a doubt.
Okay.
Because we
do know who it is.
Melanie?
Yeah.
My mom. Oh.
It's her dad.
I was like, okay, well, that could be either all three of them, I guess. It could be somebody, because I don't know the number, because we let you be anonymous. I don't put any numbers, even if I knew them, I don't put them in that account. So whoever it is, it's anonymous. And the last 5 text messages have all been, man, I love Pastor Melanie.
Yeah.
Pastor Melanie's message was so good today.
Yep.
Pastor Melanie. And so this morning.
Well, I don't know who you are, but I love you too.
That's it. So the text was, hey, 3 exclamation points. Got a little excited hearing Pastor Melanie's willingness to do a small community. One step closer to the podcast. Oh, yeah. 3 exclamation points with a giant smiley emoji. So we can only hope. We can only hope and dream. And we're dreaming with you, by the way, whoever you are. So So the opening question. So the story is of Manasseh, and it was from. I always get this. I was thinking
Second Chronicles 33.
I was thinking it's. I keep thinking it's Corinthians, but I know that's not too. Second Chronicles 33, and again, Aaron asked the question. Not asked the question. Was told Ken this was her favorite verse, and so the question of the day in the chat I thought was fun because while we didn't have a ton of responses to it necessarily directly. Question of the day, do you think people can really change? Why or why not? And we had a response, and I'm looking for it here. Oh, here it is. It was from Rod. Can people really change? I can testify yes. And I loved his answer. I don't know who John Newton is. Do you anyone know?
I do.
Do you? Okay. So, Ken, this you'll understand.
John Newton wrote the words for Amazing Grace. He also was a slave trader for many years and did many things that were not good at all. And near the end of his life, he had a conversion experience.
Gotcha.
And then he wrote, and that's after that he wrote Amazing Grace.
Rod, you're so smart. This even makes it better. So I can testify yes, like John Newton, who wrote the song Amazing Grace. I guess I didn't read it. Wow.
Spoiler.
Well, we have instant confirmation that Ken is correct. And knows
every once in a while I get it right.
I literally copied and pasted this. And so I'm like, oh, I can testify yes. And I must have slipped through to the bottom, but I was, anyway. So I can say I am not what I ought to be. I'm not what I wish to be. I am not what I hope to be. But I thank God I am not what I once was. And I thought that was pretty cool. That was a definite answer. So he was the only person that answered it directly. But then Ken started out with, okay, so Manasseh is king, or what did you, co-king? Or
co-regent.
Co-regent, that was it. At age 12. And he's
like, most likely. The Bible doesn't say that specifically, but most likely.
Most likely. And then Ken's like, well, who'd like to be a senior pastor right now? Like, sign up. Who wants to do that?
Yeah, there was. I'm curious. Did the 12-year-old that stood in the audience have deer in the headlights look? When
she did. She was shaking her head vigorously that she don't want to. So,
who would not want your job, Ken? I just feel like.
I know, right?
I feel like everybody wants my job. They should want my job. It's a great job.
Oh man, Ken. I don't.
Randy.
I think when I look at Ken's job and I'm like, I am grateful for Ken as a friend. I am grateful for Ken, maybe more so though as a boss, because I'm like, man, I don't want his job.
No,
I like my job, and I look at your job and I'm like, man, he's in a lot of meetings.
I guess we're all where we're supposed to be.
I guess, right? Because I'm like, I don't think I could do it. I'd be so mad by the end of the day that it's whoever got me in the last meeting of the day would just be like, let's cancel. He's no good at this time of day. He's already had 4 or 5. Let's just.
There might be a few people who've done that already.
Let's not bring it back for one more. It's not worth it. But so I think I missed one piece of this, and so this is probably pretty important. Why was it that God told Hezekiah he was going to die? And like, when did he find that out? Because is there anyone else in the Bible?
He found it out 15 years before he died. And we don't 100% know. It wasn't, wasn't told he was going to die because he'd done something wrong. At least the Bible doesn't record that he'd done something that made God upset or something like that, where God said, oh, you've done this, so you're going to die.
Yeah.
Rather, it just appears that it said that he was sick, and a prophet came in and said, kind of get your affairs in order because you're not going to recover from this.
A courtesy call.
Yeah. Just like,
wow.
Just basically said this is terminal, so just be ready for it. And Hezekiah didn't take no for an answer and was very upset. And so the prophet comes back and says, God's heard you and God's willing to give you another 15 years. And so that's what happened.
So initially the diagnosis was now, or very abruptly.
Imminent.
Yep.
There you go, imminent. And then so he gets 15. God changes his mind.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh, I like that. I mean, whatever he said obviously worked, or cause God to look at it a little bit differently.
Well, we're not talking about Hezekiah today, but it's an interesting theological question because Hezekiah asked for another 15 years of life, but it doesn't appear that he used the extra 15 years of life particularly well.
Well, yeah.
Because it's during that time period that some Babylonian envoys come to Jerusalem, and he shows them basically everything that's in Jerusalem. God's not happy with that, and comes back and says to him, because you did that, the kingdom is going to, the Babylonians are basically going to take your sons and daughters away.
And everything else you showed
and
them.
everything else.
Yeah.
And Hezekiah's like, well, but that's not going to happen while I'm alive, right? And the prophet's like, no. And he goes, oh, cool then. So that's why Hezekiah isn't one of my favorites, because I think that it's not nice to be like, well, at least it's not happening in my lifetime, so I can go ahead and do all these things and leave
Someone
the
else has the
consequences to my grandchildren or children. And
Plus, you got 15.
Yeah.
That's a huge gift if you're,
yeah.
And but to kind of like know, I guess either way, what's the difference if it's imminent, you're going to die,
yeah.
or if, okay, I got 15, but that would seem like you're still going to know when you're going to die. It's going to be later, but you would think that would be of course, I'd like to think that would be me. Like, man, I'm going to use this time to do a lot of great
really wisely.
things.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have either. Also, Hezekiah and Manasseh, we don't know for sure that Hezekiah is Manasseh's biological father then. Is that correct?
No, the evidence is there that he was.
Okay. Because it seemed like they weren't, like the Bible doesn't say that he was born beforehand. Did I miss that?
So the question mark in this was Manasseh born before Hezekiah's illness or after Hezekiah's illness? And the Bible doesn't particularly say. In fact, if you read it, the Bible we were talking about plain reading of the Bible last week. If you read the Bible just as it is, then it would probably appear that Hezekiah died and then Manasseh became king at age 12. And so Manasseh is 12 years old when Hezekiah dies.
Okay.
The historical record, and by the way, when I say historical record, this doesn't mean it contradicts the Bible. The Bible is what we would call particularly the Old Testament is a high context document, meaning that you kind of have to know the context behind it, because they're not, or is it low context? I can't remember. Basically, the bottom line is that the biblical writers tend to be minimalist. They don't put a lot of detail in there. It's just, how it was with Hezekiah, blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of like you make assumptions that your readers already know what you're talking about, so you don't put in a lot of extra information. And so it's not at all out of the possibility that the biblical writers just thought, well, it's not, of course everybody knows that Manasseh was co-regent with Hezekiah, so there's no point in saying that he became king at 12. He is, co-regent is becoming king. So the historical record doesn't necessarily mean that it contradicts the biblical record. It just means that the biblical writers were sparse in their details.
Yeah.
And so could it be that that Manasseh became king when Hezekiah died, and so he was born 3 years after Hezekiah's healing? Maybe. It's also very likely, based on historical timeline, that he was co-regent with Hezekiah for a period of time, and then Hezekiah died, and he took full control of the kingdom after that.
Well, I thought it was nice that, kind of taking the family and the parenting idea from this, like, hey, sometimes you can be a pretty good person. You can do everything the best to the best that you can, and hey, maybe the kid isn't going to turn out all right.
Yeah, and sometimes we make significant mistakes that do impact our children. So I think it's not a bad thing to reflect on. But there's also whatever's in the rearview mirror at this point is in the rearview mirror. Yeah. And so you can beat yourself up for what you did or did not do, or you can try to be the parent that you need to be now.
Oh, that's true. So, and Hezekiah, by all accounts, was a good king, right?
Oh, very much so. The Bible really likes him a lot. Like the biblical writers love him.
How come? I know. When you first said it, I knew that Hezekiah was one of the kings, but he doesn't seem to get a lot of. Is there not a lot of information about him? He doesn't have like the. I don't know, like David, they came back chanting, Saul killed his thousands and David's his 10,000s. And of course, we know about Saul and we know about a lot of the other kings. It doesn't seem like you hear about Hezekiah that much.
He probably doesn't get as much space as David does. I would say he gets probably almost the same amount of space that Solomon gets.
Okay.
And maybe even a little bit more. I'd say I really, and this is me talking off the top of my head, but I would say that he probably gets as much print and much copy space as he gets more than Solomon and a little less than David.
Gotcha.
I think probably David wrote a lot of the Psalms.
Well, that's true too.
So
yeah.
he gets some airtime for that, and then Solomon, had all the wisdom to pass on. So I think probably if there's something documented that you contributed, you probably get more airtime. Hezekiah should have written some Psalms.
There it is.
All right, Hezekiah. Sorry for you, buddy. Should have done that a while ago because it's been a bit. So what is Hezekiah known for though? Like, did he,
He's known for almost dying.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big one. He was known for following God with all his heart. He's known for doing a lot of building projects in Jerusalem. He's known for leading the country into a pretty wealthy status. He also is known for the Assyrians coming to try to sack Jerusalem. And he prays to God, and God delivers them from the Assyrians, where they run off in the middle of the night. So, yeah,
maybe that's just me not connecting Hezekiah with things, but yeah, that made sense. So when the kings, so the other part was with the Assyrians. So it was kind of like Manasseh was so bad. They were like, dude, we have a friend in Judea with Manasseh. So he's like one of our favorite kings, or he's on our list of if we need help, he's one of our guys to call, or he's a partner with us. Is that what we were
Vassal is kind of a different power dynamic.
Yeah, basically, when a country conquers another country, and then they require the country that they conquered to provide them with resources, that would be called a vassal state. Basically, the country that's having to provide resources becomes a vassal state of the other, and that's where Judah was. In spite of the Assyrians not taking over Jerusalem, Hezekiah was still basically giving tribute, paying money to them to leave him alone and to let him remain king. And if he quit paying, it was old school extortion. Basically, if you pay us, we won't come break your toys.
Yeah. Huh. So what perpetuates the it says the Lord sent the commanders of the Assyrian armies, but I mean,
the Bible doesn't say, but in Manasseh's case, the Bible doesn't say why the Assyrians came and took him into captivity outside of that he'd made God upset, and so God sent the Assyrians to do it. The historical record seems to indicate, as I mentioned in the sermon, that around this period there was a civil war within Assyria, and basically two brothers were fighting for control of the nation. One was located out of Babylon, the other one was out of Nineveh, which was the capital of Assyria. And the brother out of Nineveh prevailed and took out his brother who was in Babylon. And it appears that the brother in Babylon was kind of in the weaker position to start off with, and so he recruited a bunch of the nations that were vassal states of Assyria to be on his team, basically telling them, I'll give you a better deal than my brother is. If you come fight for me and we prevail, then I'll give you a better deal than my brother did.
Nice.
And many historians hypothesize that Manasseh decided to back this younger brother, hoping probably to get a better deal out of Assyria than the one he currently had.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Manasseh, unfortunately for Judah, the older brother was dominated and basically wiped out his younger brother and all the people supporting him. And so while the historical record doesn't show it, theologians, historians will hypothesize that Manasseh was, that when this older brother prevailed, he went to Jerusalem and said, you done messed up.
You done, yeah.
And so now it's time for us, for you to be taken into captivity. So he takes them to Babylon. And that's where he's at when he's going through a lot of suffering.
Well, that's an interesting story all in itself. Where do you find that story?
Which story?
Of the two, the brothers, the Assyrian kings, the one in Babylon and one in Nineveh.
That would be in history books that you would find that. You can also find it on the internet and various historical places that study this sort of thing.
It's kind of a cool story to think about and to kind of see how it interacts with.
The brothers have names that I can't pronounce, so that's why we didn't put them in there.
The idea and the visual of they put a ring in his nose, they bound him in bronze chains, and lead him away to Babylon. And someone who probably doesn't know. I mean, if you're 12 and when you become king and you've probably been living in the palace your entire life, that's got to be a huge switch over.
Yeah.
To be like, I mean, anyone getting thrown in, being led away and being thrown into prison and all that is probably, tragic. But I was just thinking that, he just probably never knew a day of want in his life. And all of a sudden it's like, wow, this is a pretty big turnaround, a 180 for sure.
Yep.
And then he prays, and the Lord listened to him and was moved by his request. Man, I mean, this is multiple times where you just, like, for some reason, God is moved by Hezekiah, who is a great king, and he's also moved by Manasseh, who's been the complete opposite of his father. And then Manasseh finally realized the Lord alone is God. And that's I don't know, those two together is such a stark contrast in like how you live your life. And, I know that when people will ask about, what was it like when you grew up? And I had someone email me this week, and I'm not at liberty to say who, but was just like, man, I really appreciated your story about getting sick with Emily, and that you'd do it again if you needed to because she needed you. And their family dynamic was not that way, and they were treated very, very poorly. And part of it worked around the Sabbath and different things, and it really made me look at this in a different way. Also, just because there's things you think in your life like, oh man, that was just really, really bad. And then someone shares something like that where their father figure wasn't someone, and I'm not also being clear, I'm not the world's greatest father in the history of the world.
Oh, come on, Randy, come on.
But also,
you're at least the second best.
Yeah, maybe, but a lot of things we all think, man, it'd be great if we could go back and change a couple things, or maybe one big thing, so for that person, just like you've been praying for me, I've been praying for you, and so I hope this message brings a little bit of comfort as well, that that's the Lord was moved by his request. And it just feels odd. Moved by his request. It's a 4 words that are just really, really beautiful when you think about the God that created everything, and he was moved by someone like me, or whoever put that on yourself. He was moved by my request, and to be the worst king ever, and God forgives and redeems them. And then I think the thing that maybe I liked about the message, that also was just one of those things that it feels good. God forgave him and redeemed him, but also thinking to kind of like what you said earlier about Hezekiah. Well, that's not going to be, that's after my time. I don't care. But the damage we've done has lasting consequences. And, like afterwards, the people still worshiped pagan idols, but only to the Lord. What does that mean?
It says that they made sacrifices on pagan altars, but only to the Lord. And so Deuteronomy and Leviticus are very clear that God doesn't want his people sacrificing to him on altars that have been sacrificed to other gods. And so they're really only supposed to take their sacrifices to the temple in Jerusalem. And so still sacrificing on these pagan altars was still a violation of what God was asking for them to do. And in our culture, it doesn't seem like that big a deal. It's like, what does it really matter? But for them back then, it really did matter. It was kind of a little like, maybe it's kind of like, I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. I'll sacrifice to God, but it's on this on this deity's altar. So if he feels a little okay with that maybe that gives me a little double coverage there.
This one's a lot closer to home.
Yeah, a lot closer.
Whatever, yeah. Well, it just seemed weird though that was. I mean, it brought home the point that God can hear you and redeem you and forgive you. But it doesn't mean that the things that you did that he's forgiving you for don't have lasting...
No, the consequences don't evaporate with forgiveness.
And maybe deep consequences. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just thought that part in two ways. But I was like, man, who was it? Uzzah that touched the Ark of the Covenant?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if going, oh my gosh, this is the most holy of all holies, and it's right here in front of me, and it's God's, and it's going to hit the ground. I'm going to save it, even though I've been told not to. I'm pretty sure this is the right thing to do. Could have been just a lightning quick, knee-jerk reaction. Boom, you're dead. And then they're worshiping on pagan sacrifices, and I'm like, or altars.
And no lightning struck. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know. I'm just, that's what the first thing that came to mind was like, wow. God was in a generous mood right then.
Well, the Israelites might have and they might disagree with you because they are taken out of their country eventually and carted off to Babylon, and so the consequences of this do catch up. The consequences do catch up for them.
Yeah, and then in the chat today. Stanley said, imagine God telling you how much time you have left. Would that make you determined or scared? And Anonymous said, I'd be relieved initially. Life has been really hard for me throughout my life, and to know that I'd finally get to die temporarily, and the next time I open my eyes is when Jesus calls for me from the grave to eternal happiness is appealing to me. And I thought, that there's been times in my life I felt that way too. It's like, well, at the end of the day, it sounds maybe, I don't know, but if you go now, the next thing you hear and see, it's not doesn't seem to be the worst. But Anonymous, I know that they were praying for you over in the chat. Just and if there's any way we could be of help, if you want to reach out to us here at the church, podcast at wholelife.church, I'll make sure that gets to Pastor Ken. And if you'd like to speak with him or someone else, just let me know and we'll make that happen. But I definitely resonated with your comment. I felt like, yep, I've been there. And then Coyote said, I want to know who's keeping track of all the bad things, because it also says that he, God, casts them into the depths of the sea and remembers them no more. So, who's the keeper of the bad stuff?
Satan.
Okay. Do you concur?
The accuser.
You give me the accuser. Ooh, I like the accuser. That's a good one.
That's what the word Satan means. It means accuser.
Satan.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean? Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's actually not a proper noun. It's used as a proper noun, but it's just the word for accuser.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I've heard the accuser before.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Cool. So, yeah, it was a lively discussion going on there this morning, and I'm sure it will be for second service as well. So, what's our favorite thing next week?
Our favorite thing is Melanie preaching.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we're taking a small detour because Ken, you have to be out of town.
I do. I am going to be up at the Ocala Church. I do
Ocala.
Ocala Adventist Church.
Okay.
Rochelle is the Family Ministries Director for the Florida Conference, and she was invited to go up there and speak, and they specifically asked if she and her husband could come along. So I am going along on this one.
I love it when people introduce me as, this is Rochelle's. This is
You better not like that, Randy. I don't like that.
Heather's husband.
I'm okay with that one.
Many times it's been people forget my name and then they go, well, Heather's husband. I'm like, well, I'll take that.
Yeah, I think it's fun too.
That's a win. So what are we going to be talking about, Melanie?
Well, like I said, we're going to take a detour from our favorite things because that is a Ken series, and people don't want to hear what we have to say about their favorite verse. They want to know what Ken has to say about their favorite verse.
No. I very much disagree with that. I think that the listenership here would back me up on this one. I'm sure people would love to hear you talk about their favorite things. Nevertheless.
Well, either way, Ken's going to be gone, and the topic is going to be Once Upon a Kingdom.
Ooh,
and I have chosen two of the most difficult passages in the entire New Testament for us to solve together next week. So,
wow.
And actually, it's kind of a cool thing because I'm doing and I guess I can just kind of pre-tell this story a little bit. There's a book that is going to be republished called Patterns of Preaching, and it's written by someone I know named Ron Allen. And he is adding to and republishing this Patterns of Preaching book. And one of the particular patterns that is going to be described in the book is called progressive dialogue.
Okay.
And he came and checked out our website and thought, I bet this would work really well in this church. So he called me and asked me if I would write a sermon for his book. And so for the past few weeks, I have been talking with different people about their perception of the text that I'm going to be preaching on. And
Do we get to know what the text is so we can...
Yes, the texts are going to be in Matthew, so we're going to talk about Matthew.
So read the entire book of Matthew, and maybe you'll have a guess.
If you stick to Matthew 23 and Matthew 13, you'll be pretty close. Actually, Matthew 13, 10 through 17 is going to be a key text, and so if you have particular ideas on that, and you can send them to me right after you hear this podcast, I would love to hear them.
She may work them in.
I may work them in.
So this is some of our favorite things, essentially.
I've had about 40 people contribute so far.
Wow.
And it'll be a little bit more interactive than normal. So the challenge for me this week is to figure out how to be the singular person speaking polyphonically.
So is first service part 1 and the second service part 2? It sounds like you've got a lot to get through.
It could be. I guess we'll find out together.
Or are we going to turn Melanie on to like 1.8? To make it through everything in one service.
I'll have to talk very
That's
fast.
the way I like to listen to it.
Wow, Ken.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't referring directly to you. I was talking about all my Audible books
in general.
Yeah, 1.8 speed.
Well, I can say on most weeks I will, as I prepare for the podcast, if of course we're Saturday morning here, but on a regular week, I will listen to the message, and I usually listen at 1.5 or 1.8 just because I just need to get through it. I just need a refresher, and I'm just jotting my thoughts down. But 1.8 for a whole sermon in live in person, that'd be something.
That would be.
Yeah, that would be.
No water breaks
much shorter sermon, which is probably always a good thing.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so then after that, we're back to Ken will be
your
back.
regularly scheduled programming.
Back
Yes.
to regularly scheduled programming.
And summertime is here, and
yep.
We've got the next big thing, I think, for where we're all going to get together kind of thing. Special church summer event is ice skating. That's coming up in July. So mark your
July
calendars.
5th.
My girls are always excited because it's not something there. They totally equate cold, ice, snow with when we're in Wisconsin in the wintertime. So like Sparkle's always like, there's ice in there. I'm like,
what is ice doing in Florida?
Why? How did they do it inside a building? There's ice. So she thinks it's cool. Anyway, so that'll be fun. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this week. Thanks for listening and have a great week. Thanks for listening to This Is Whole Life. If today's conversation resonated with you, we invite you to subscribe, share, and leave a review on your favorite listening platform. To join the conversation, send a text or voicemail to 407-965-1607 or email podcast@wholelife.church. To learn more about Whole Life Church, worship with us online or in person, visit our website, wholelife.church. Until next time. This is Whole Life.